Assalamualaikum sir, my name is Alfarisi from Adskim. Today I'm going to present the case of MAJLIS PEGUAM Malaysia versus KRISHNAN and JEYAPALAN. So the key facts of this case is KRISHNAN was an advocate and solicitor that was appointed by a complainant, which is Sabariar anak lelaki Magalam, to recover the 59,000 from Sami anak lelaki Anthony. Sami made payments through KRISHNAN, but the last 3 checks to the complainant were dishonored, with 2 drawn on the respondent client's account. The complainant lodged a complaint after not receiving the full payment, alleging that KRISHNAN had only paid 28 and 500,000 of the 35,000 received by the Sami. The disciplinary board sought an explanation from KRISHNAN, which he failed to provide. The disciplinary board found misconduct on KRISHNAN's part and initially ordered him to be struck off of the role of the advocate and solicitor. As we can see here, KRISHNAN was the lawyer representing the complainant in the financial recovery matters, and the lawyer has breached some condition, which is issued dishonored checks by the solicitor's client's account, which is a serious offence under section 94 subsection 3 paragraph C of the Legal Profession Act 1967, and the gross disregard for the client's interest under section 94 subsection 3 paragraph N of the Legal Profession Act 1967, and allowing an unauthorized person to carry out legal business of his firm without control and supervision under section 94 subsection 3 paragraph I of the Legal Profession Act 1976. So the complainant claimed that KRISHNAN did not pay him the balance of 3,800 and lodged a complaint with the disciplinary board. So the judgment, the Court of Appeal found the initial punishment of striking off the rolls to be the manifestly harsh, considering the complainant had withdrawn the complaint and most of the money has been paid. The court substituted the order with a fine of 11,400 ringgit.
Now we're moving on to the finding of the court. In this case, the court decided to allow the appeal. High Court's order was set aside. Disciplinary board's order varied, and order for striking out from roles of advocate and solicitor substitute with fine of 11,400 ringgit Malaysia to be paid within 1 month from date of order. Legal reasoning of the finding. The court found that the disciplinary board failed to consider the principle of proportionality in their decision. While acknowledging the seriousness of the dishonored check from the respondent's client's account, the court noted that the complainant had withdrawn his complaint, which should have been considered. The disciplinary board should have evaluated the gravity of the offence, the respondent's exculpatory conduct, and the complainant's actions since lodging the complaint before deciding the punishment. The court views striking the respondent off the rolls as excessively harsh and believed that a reasonable and compassionate disciplinary board could not have justified such a severe punishment. So in this case, did the court find a breach of fiduciary duties? Yes, the court found that the respondent, who is an advocate and solicitor, breached fiduciary duties in this case. The specific duties that were breached include, firstly, drawing debt on the solicitor's client's account that were dishonored, which fall under section 94 subsection 3 subsection C of the Legal Profession Act. Secondly, gross disregard for the client's interest under section 94 subsection 3 subsection N. Thirdly, allowing an unauthorized person to conduct legal business for the firm without adequate control and supervision, violating section 94 subsection 3 subsection I from the same Act.
So moving on to the next point, which is legal principle. So the first legal principle is no requirement for formal charges. The LPA 1976 does not require the preferment of formal charges against a solicitor before the commencement of disciplinary proceeding. So it can be illustrated in the case of Binti Bahari against Gang Kong Yu, where in this case the court emphasizing that there is no need for specific charges to be framed before a DB meeting. The meeting of the DB is not a court trial, and the Act or the Legal Provision Rules 1994 do not require charges to be framed against the applicant. So moving on to the next legal principle, which is right of the respondent. Section 103B subsection 4 of LPA stated that before the DC can begin its hearing on any matter, it must post or deliver to the advocate and solicitor involved first a copy of any written and with any supporting statutory declaration And secondly, a notice inviting the advocate and solicitor. So this provision ensures that the respondent has a fair opportunity to present their side. So moving on to the last legal principle, which is mitigating factors. So in this case, the judges highlight the importance of considering mitigating factors when determining disciplinary sanction. So in this case, instead of striking the solicitor off the role of advocate and solicitor, they substitute this penalty with a fine of RM 11,400 ringgit. So it can be illustrated in the case of a solicitor, where a similar situation led to the substitution of a striking off order with a suspension.
There are some ethical guidelines that need to be followed by a lawyer. The first one is fee appropriateness. Lawyers are obligated to provide advice or accept cases in courts where they practice at a fee that corresponds to the nature and the complexity of the case. Second one will be right to refuse. Lawyers have the discretion to decline specific cases, but they must be capable of to justify their refusal, especially in exceptional circumstances. And the third one will be full disclosures. Lawyers must provide comprehensive and honest disclosures to their clients at the start and throughout their engagement. These disclosures should include any connections with involved parties or personal interests in the matter that might influence the client's judgment in hiring or retaining the lawyer. Another ethical guidelines is exercise of care and skill. Lawyers must provide advice and take necessary actions with reasonable care and skill, akin to a competent and experienced practitioner. Next, fearless advocacy. Lawyers must vigorously defend their clients' interests by fair and honourable means without regard to personal consequences, including defending those accused of crimes irrespective of personal opinions. And next one will be confidentiality obligation. Lawyers must refrain from exploiting or benefiting from their clients' confidences for personal gain, even after their professional engagement ends, aiming to maintain trust and the integrity of this noble profession. Another material legal guidelines is conflict avoidance. Lawyers should avoid conflict of interest, especially if representing parties with conflicting interests, and must act solely on their client's instructions or those of their authorized agent. Next one, handling client funds. Lawyers must promptly deposit client funds into designated accounts and refrain it from using these funds for personal obligations to ensuring financial integrity and trust. And next, trial preparedness. Lawyers must be adequately prepared for the trial on scheduled dates and should only seek postponements for valid reasons, avoiding actions that unduly delay proceedings can harm client interests. Next is effective communication. Lawyers should communicate promptly and effectively with their clients, providing regular updates on case progress, court proceedings, and addressing urgent matters promptly. And the last one will be unbiased conduct. Lawyers must maintain impartiality in their conduct and demeanor towards clients to ensure that personal feelings do not influence their personal actions.
Moving on to the impact of the case, the first one is the implication of the case to the legal profession in Malaysia. The appeal was allowed by Court of Appeal in this case, as it becomes a reminder and precedent for disciplinary board of Nation Bar to uphold integrity in exercising their power against the solicitor. It is strictly a duty and obligation under the law for disciplinary board to comply strictly with the rule of the natural justice. So how it should be done? Disciplinary board is called to ensure that notice of hearing served on the parties involved and the appellant is given an opportunity to be heard before any decision can be taken. Otherwise, it is definitely a fundamental breach of natural justice if the solicitor is not provided with an opportunity to be heard. Okay, moving on to the next implication, which is doctrine of proportionality. As a review, it can be seen that disciplinary board in arriving their decision for this case had been guilty of procedural impropriety and proportionality. So it can be concluded that disciplinary board may be substituted based on the proportionality, where a decision made imposed is excessive punishment which is deemed to be unreasonable in the circumstances of the case. Therefore, disciplinary board must maintain a sense of proportion between their particular direction and the means they adopt to achieve those decisions towards the direction. It is becoming a tool to ensure that solicitor fundamental rights are protected, as well as discretionary power be used would be achieve its legitimate purpose.
Statutory duties are specific obligations that arise out of a relationship of trust and confidence. For lawyers, these duties require them to act in the best interest of their clients. In the context of legal practice, a lawyer has fiduciary duties towards their clients, which include duty of loyalty, where the lawyer must prioritize the client's interests above their own; duty of care, where the lawyer must act with competence and diligence, using their skills and expertise to benefit the client; and lastly, duty of accounting, where the lawyer must properly manage and account for the client's funds and property. The fiduciary duties of lawyers are crucial in maintaining trust and integrity in the lawyer-client relationship. The respondent failed in his duty of loyalty and care by not dispersing the full amount collected, showing he did not prioritize the client's interests or act diligently. Additionally, the respondent breached his duty of accounting by issuing dishonored check which failed to manage the client's funds responsibly and caused potential financial harm and inconvenience, undermining the trust placed in him to handle the financial matters with integrity. Conduct refers to the adherence to the professional and moral standards that govern behavior. For lawyers, this involves following a set of rules and principles that ensure they act with integrity, honesty, fairness, and respect for the law. Key aspects of ethical conduct for lawyers include honesty and integrity, confidentiality, competence, loyalty, and fairness. In this case, the respondent, an advocate and solicitor, was found guilty of multiple ethical breaches. This included mismanagement of client funds, breaching the ethical conduct of honesty and integrity by issuing dishonored check, and allowing an unauthorized person to conduct legal business without proper supervision, indicating negligence and poor management of legal practices. Additionally, the respondent's failure to provide a written explanation to the disciplinary board demonstrated a lack of accountability and cooperation with oversight bodies, further reflecting poorly on his adherence to the ethical responsibilities.
That's all from us. Thank you.